Welcome to Compression, the quest to $100 million in just 1 year. Join me, your host, Logan Freeman, in this one-of-a-kind interactive podcast experience where I am on a quest to compress 3 years of achievement and production into 12 months. And no, the answer is not to just work harder. I'm bringing you not only ideas and concepts that are complete at the theoretical level, but they're also effective at the applied level. Look, guys, knowledge is not power. It is potential power. Knowledge plus massive strategic action equals power. We're talking about strategy, systems, accountability, all in real time. This is Compression.
We're back for another episode of the Compression Podcast. Logan, how are things out in Kansas City this week, my friend?
Cold, man. It's so cold here. Today is 1 degree. Tomorrow is going to be negative, believe it or not. But it is fiery hot in the world of Logan Freeman this whole week. And if you're watching this, Jerome and I are sporting some blue light glasses. Not only that, Jerome's actually sitting in my office right behind me, believe it or not. So with that being said, this is a unique episode because we both have glasses on and Jerome is partly in my office. Actually, Jerome's in a lot of people's offices. How many people are you in right now?
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
not a lot. It's only for that inner circle of people who I truly call apex performers, Logan. If you're an apex performer, you have one of those. If you're not, you're thinking about being an apex performer, you don't have one.
Well, here's what I'll say. The last gentleman I had on the Live Free podcast was singing your praises, talking about you a lot. I know you have a lot of impact on a lot of people, and probably the most intentional about actually focusing on the impact that you're having. And so that's something we'll talk about today. But before we did, I want you to tell everybody about your conference. We have to get that out. We've got the conference coming up. So talk to us about the conference and where folks can go to learn more about it.
Man, that's so generous of you to share this with your audience, man. The Mid-Atlantic Multifamily Investing Conference is a virtual conference going down March 19th through the 21st of 2021. You can grab your tickets at myersmethods.com/CON 2021, and prices go up at least $1 a day. We've moved from 129 to 150 already. And this weekend will continue to go up. And as more tickets get sold, the price will go up even faster because I know a lot of people enjoy waiting, right? They don't see a consequence in not taking action. And so we're going to put a dollar amount on that. Yep. And the goal there is just to say, hey, look, if you've already made up your mind that this is what you're going to do, then why would you wait? Yeah. Why wouldn't you take action now? And that's just a common theme in life, right? The people who are performing at the highest levels make a decision and they take action right away.
That's right.
Those folks who are thinking about it and pausing and pretending, they get the scraps left over. So I saw that quote somewhere. It had to be an Instagram quotable, right? One of the top 5, where it's like, hey, good things come to people who wait, and it's just the leftovers from the people who already have done it. So, with that said, I am absolutely excited about this episode. You told me about some numbers. Yep. You sent me a text and said your haters are growing. And so there's a tremendous amount of stuff to dive into. But again, guys, if you want to be at the conference, it's the most diverse multifamily investing focused conference in the country. And I don't care which website you go to, you can pick all of your favorite educators and organizers. They don't have a lineup like us. And nobody's coming to sell you anything. I'm the person with the course to sell, and I'm not selling it at conference, right? So you can come have a great time, right? Have a great time, meet some amazing people, hear from the best in the industry. By my account, there were 25 invitations extended to people who I think are doing this at a very high level with integrity and have an interest in actually sewing into you.
Yep.
And I don't think you can get that anywhere else. So, Logan, thanks again for letting me mention that, man. Super excited.
Yeah, I'll just reiterate the fact that Jerome's not selling anything. The people on there are high integrity. They have been filtered through so many different buckets, sizing people up, all of the different ones. He's connected with every single one of them. I like the lineup because the fact that I can't hear some of these other people, or it might be one of their first or second engagements. You catch people on the way up, okay? And what I mean by that is I talked to some investors this week that said, hey, how many deals have you taken full cycle? And I said, zero. And I said it right back to them. I said, hey, we are an up and coming firm that is out there finding really great deals that appraise higher than what we're paying for them, and we're operating them the right way. We have not taken one full cycle. Same thing with these speakers and folks. There's people on the check mark that are on that cusp of on their way up, and you're going to get so much value from those people. Those are the people I actually look for because they're not selling anything and they're actually just bringing you value. So the lineup is stacked, man. We'll leave it at that. The link will be in the show notes so people can take a look at that and go over there and get their tickets. So I appreciate that, man.
What's the date of this show? Where are we? 21? 12?
Yeah, I mean, it's February 12th right now. I don't know exactly when this one will be launched. I imagine it will be not this upcoming Monday, but the next. So it will be whatever Monday that is. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, so 15th, 22.
Yeah. So
what's the intention? What was the intention or what's the intention and outcome for this show this week?
Yeah, man, I wrote that down. And the intention this week is the system is on. The title of the podcast today is 19.3. So if you've been tracking, we started at 4.2, 6.8, 12.3, 19.3, February 12th, 2021. So we're tracking well on the quarterly goal. I told Jerome before this, though, that after this closing and one other small one upcoming, we do not have something until March or end of March. And so we likely will not hit our $25 million quarterly goal. However, so that's why that's the intention of this podcast, has got me thinking about the difference between goals and systems. And obviously, if you've been following me, I've been rereading Atomic Habits. I'm excited to bring Jerome along to meet James here coming up pretty soon. How exciting that is. That guy is an apex performer, writer, weightlifter, businessman. Very excited to get some exposure to him. But the intentionality this week, what's the difference between a goal, a system? What is a system? That's what we're going to be talking about and diving into.
Woo, doggy, wait. 19.3. Let's go back there because that excites me, right? Because we're not even 2 full months into the thing, right? And we're almost 20% of the way there, right? Mm-hmm. And for people who are good at math, I'm not great at math, but I'm okay at math, right? 20% would be sometime in March, and we're ahead of schedule, bud.
Yes.
We're ahead of schedule.
And we have a good pipeline set right now. And I'm also really close to bringing on a director of acquisitions, an acquisitions associate to help us continue to push on the deal flow. So feel very good about that, my man. My affirmation this week has been, I will trade my expectations for appreciations. I will trade my expectations for appreciation. So what the heck does that mean? But that's what I've been telling myself every single morning. So much stress, anxiety, and negative feelings comes from your expectations on yourself and on other people. And so if you can work to trade those expectations for just appreciating those other people and yourself, you'll start to really flip the switch and be able to get a grip on stress. So that is the affirmation that I have been talking about this week, and I've been writing down every single morning.
So this one is just brilliant, man. I don't know where you found that affirmation. I think that very few people understand this concept that gratitude governs. If gratitude governs everything in your world,
Yep.
then it's really hard to be upset, sad, disappointed, frustrated, because you're grateful for the situation,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you know, the opposite of that is all of the other stuff where you're being selfish, right? If you think about all suffering, you think about the majority of pain, you're thinking about yourself. And I just re-listened to 10X, and Grant was talking about that and how, you know, you're thinking about yourself, and that's why you got stinking thinking. And I was just
Yep.
like, man, people are missing the point. They're focusing on themselves when things aren't going well instead of going and finding somebody else to help, right?
Yeah.
And you trading in. So was there a specific example where you actually applied this affirmation this week?
Yeah, it was with Taylor. And Taylor is my wife. Obviously, people know that if they've been listening. But, you know, Taylor is an amazing woman. And she works full time at a very high producing position at her job. She does a very good job of that. I don't worry about food. I don't worry about groceries. I don't worry about toilet paper. I don't worry about paper towels, laundry, any of this stuff. And I just had to look at her this week. I haven't told her this. She might be listening in the other room. I don't know, but I haven't told her this. I need to, right? But like, and I know she's not listening to this, so I could talk about her all I want. But I just, all of these different expectations that husbands have on their wives, from the way that they look to the way that they act, to ask you questions, make you the hero of everything. All of these things, I had to take a step back and appreciate every single thing that she does. Without her, 19.3 is zero, zero. My support system, I will put my support system up against anybody's that I know right now. I've got Jerome, I got Parker, I got Corey, I got my wife, I got Ryan, I got Alex, I got all of these people that are supporting me on a regular basis. And I just needed to step back this week and say, hey, when you're going to get upset or you have an expectation that something's done, it's not done, how about trading that for appreciating everything that that person is doing for you? And I just started to look at her in a different way this week, and I just need to share that more to her. But that's a very specific example that I've been going through this week.
Yeah, so the frustration comes when the expectation and the reality don't meet.
That's right.
And if you didn't communicate well, then of course they probably don't meet if you're relying on another person to do it. Sometimes we just want them to know.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is it's your fault if you didn't do the thing, and you do the extreme ownership. And I think the other thing that's really important here is when somebody feels appreciated, when you're expressing that gratitude, they always do more
Yeah.
than you'll ever ask. So that's awesome, man. I think that piece of self-awareness will go a long way and go deeper into this mantra. I don't know if I want to call it a mantra or a ritual that you have committed to, of making her feel special on a daily basis.
Yep. Well, it's definitely a habit now, and it's definitely a system that we'll talk about. But, the other piece of it, applying it to the business is, and this is going to be the overarching theme that we've mentioned, is that I've got all these expectations on myself. We've got all these expectations about where I should be, what I have done, what I haven't done, where the pipeline is. And Jerome, you have been challenging that thought to say, hey, what about saying good job? Patting myself on the back. So the second example, and that's not to I don't need an ego boost from anybody. If you know me personally, I get my self-worth from who I am and what I do on a regular basis, not from any external or existential circumstance. But I traded my expectation on myself, the way that I look, when I'm getting up, all of these different things, for appreciating all of the systems that I have been putting in place for 7 years. So I started to just take a step back and say, all right, man, you got this big $100 million goal. That's fantastic. But you need to appreciate what you have done up to this point and all the blessings that God has continued to bestow on you with your health, your children, your business, all of these things. So it's been a big perspective shift to just been enjoying the process a little bit more this week, because I continue to have this word in my head and on my heart of sustainability. Multiple of my mentors have reached out to me and they say, my gosh, Logan, I get an email from you every single day from a new podcast, a newsletter, a deal, this closing, a webinar, a graphic, all like, how are you going to sustain this with 2 kids? And frankly, they've built businesses a different way. So part of that's not all me, but a part of it was a good point to say, okay, am I going to be able to keep this same level of what I'm doing on a regular basis, the physical and mental and emotional stress? And it's not all negative stress. There's eustress in there as well. There's positive stress, but they see other folks maybe in my shoes being, turning 31 this year and working really hard and doing all these things that they burn out. So that's their question behind the question is, are you going to burn out? And what I have to implement and instill in confidence in these mentors, because many of these mentors have turned into investors. And so I have to instill in my investor base the confidence that Logan Freeman, yes, FTW is fantastic. You guys are doing a good job, but we're really banking on that guy. So making sure that I have this sustainability mentality has been a humongous light bulb. That was the post this morning on LinkedIn was I've been having more light bulb moments. And when light bulb moments happen, it means that you're growing and it means that you're self-aware, but you're also actually taking action and growing in that light. And so I'm trying to stay in the light as much as I can instead of in the dark and keeping those light bulb moments. This helps me. You help me. Taylor helps me. Mentors help me. But I have to be open to that feedback, right? And so I'm not the most responsive guy on text or all that stuff, but I see it, and I'm there. I get it. I've taken the feedback in. I'm a very coachable person, so just continuing to keep that light bulb on. The last 2 weeks, I've talked about light bulb moments. They just keep happening, and when those things are happening, that's the compound interest of, hey, I'm ahead of the game, and I'm ahead of the game because of the self-awareness. So the system is on, my man. And hopefully people can hear that and feel that through the podcast here. And then maybe if they're watching me, the system is on because that guy's behind me all the time. And I got my nice light glasses on as well.
So the thing that the dots to connect there is Logan's creating a system that will allow him to continue to have this sustained effect.
Yeah.
Right. It's not solely dependent on Logan's effort for things to happen. And I just had an email flash across my screen from Logan, and I know he's not writing an email or didn't just write the email because I've been talking to him for the past 30 minutes, right? And so what most people don't get is you can create systems and amplify, multiply your impact influence.
Yes.
If you have the right team in place.
So
now,
yeah, go ahead, Drum. Finish your thought.
No, keep going. Go.
I was just going to say, James Clear talks really good about adding things into your life, adding a habit. But I think about that. Yes, I want to add the right habits, but I got a lot of those going on. I also look at this system as a way to make sure I never get off base, off track too far. If you point a nose of a 777 airplane, a 777, 3 feet to the right, you'll end up in New York instead of, DC, whatever it is. There's studies. James talks about that in his book. I'm putting a system in place for the positive and the addition, but also to say, hey, man, it sounds like you're off kilter just a little bit. So I have kind of readjustments to help me get back on track really quickly. I wish you would, and that's something I'm going to ask him about on the call is talking more about that, because adding the things in are good, but how do you create a system of the accountability is one piece, but the second piece is actually the direction, right? So that's what I've been doing, is building that ecosystem of people around me that are not afraid to give feedback, want to see us succeed, and have my best interest in heart. And that is a part of the big sustainability that I've been trying to instill confidence in people as well.
So it's easy when you are where you are right now in the business to think that you can't let other people do things,
Yeah,
right? And by not delegating, by not sharing the responsibilities, you will restrict and choke the growth of your company. I think the multiplication effect is something that so few people get. And if you can grab that when the firm gets to the place where it's too big for you to do it all, that's when you go to the next level.
yeah,
And if you do not grab hold of that, you will choke the life out of your company
that's right.
because it won't grow. It won't grow.
Yep. I was talking to a gentleman yesterday who was kind of in my position. He took a different route, but he was just singing my praises about, the way that we have gone about this, or I have gone about this. And I said, can I just ask you, like, hey, I don't need like thank you, first off, I appreciate it. But like, tell me why you're telling me that, right? Like, I want to know why you're saying what you're saying. And this is a first call with this guy. And he's like, what the? But I caught him off guard a little bit, but he said, look, man, I'm a single man shop. I got this capacity to do this, and you have not taken that route. You took the absolute opposite route. What he doesn't know is 3 years ago, I took the single man shop route and wrote an investor a check last year for $225,000 because I tried to take that route. Okay. So I did. I attempted to, but then I shifted very quickly. I pivoted to making it more of a team in an actual business. So, I just wanted to tell that story because I thought it was an interesting one. A guy that I would respect and look up to is kind of down here saying, man, it's impressive what you have been doing and the way that you're doing it. And I just think it's because I've put the right people in the right seats in the right vehicle, trying to get it in the right direction, man.
For sure. So, let's talk about the wins, man. Well, first of all, this is a win before you even go down, and it might be on your list, but I'm still all the thunder if it's on your list. You took Monday off and spent it with Bella.
That is number one on the list today. So, making Bella's birthday special. I took the whole day off and took her to a indoor water park. I took a 7-month-old and a 2-year-old to a water park for probably 10-year-olds. I don't know, but we still had a blast. It was just a new adventure for us. It was snowing outside, had to get the 4-wheel drive on. We didn't have the tickets that we thought. So all these things happened, but we still made it extremely special for her. And I just wanted to reiterate the fact that, yes, I'm 31 years old. Yes, we have a business, but I'm building a business around my life, not my life around my business. And, that is a big point to remember for me because it's hard for me to take that time off. But that is the number one win, man, is I took that time off. I shared the time with Taylor, with Ezra, with Isabella. She had an incredible birthday. She had a blast. She was tired as heck, and it was a lot of fun. So that was number one win for sure.
Hopefully T took pictures, so she will always be able to reflect on it.
Absolutely, man. All right. So the second win is around the business. Obviously, we talked about the episode name being 19.3. Very proud of where we're at right now. What I need to tell people is that was generated 3 or 4 months ago. They all fell in the same month. So that's why the growth has been where it has been. But that whole pipeline of cyclical nature of the commercial real estate business, we never took it off, right? So like people usually don't close stuff in January and February because they weren't doing anything in October and November. We were. So that's a big win to say, hey, we didn't take our foot off the gas. We've had incredible talks with some investors this week. We've got good deal flow. We've got the operational piece in place. So second win is being at 19.3 in February 12th or whatever today is. So that's the second win. Third big win for this week is, we had a webinar on Tuesday that I put together a bunch of content for a Kansas City market update. And then we pitched our new project, our new deal, very small deal, 12-unit duplex deal, great deal in Independence. The equity was raised before I finished the webinar. So that is a big win. I got an email and said, I'll take it all, period. So it was done before the webinar was even over. That was very exciting. The repercussion of that was that 5 or 6 investors said, how do I get on the first look list next time? I said, well, you technically were. It just went really quickly. But that was exciting for me to create urgency in the process of raising capital. Everybody talks about raising $1 million in a day and all that stuff. There's not very many people that actually can do that. So being able to have the investor support, we had 70 people sign up. About half of them showed up in the middle of the day, which was exciting. It was very good. The content was delivered well. My presentation skills have gone from a 1 2 years ago to about a 6, I would say. So I'm getting much better on the presentation of the content and telling stories and making sure that people understand that. So that was a big win this past week, man. You want to talk about that one?
Well, so you've made an investment, right? You've made a capital investment in order to speed up or grow your ability to raise capital faster. I don't know if you've applied any of the things in this particular webinar after making that investment, but where you're putting the money, you're getting the results.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. The second piece of that is, we got a lot of new investors reaching out, which is good, but new investors that are reaching out that are real, that are really wanting to invest. And so had some great calls with some new investors, said, hey, we're in for your next project, which gives me a lot of confidence, because another big win is we are under LOI for our next apartment deal. And it's our first deal on the Kansas side of Kansas City. So I'm excited about that. That's a huge win. I don't know, if many folks know, but we started an HVAC company, so heating, ventilation, and air conditioning company in September of last year. We have been cash flow positive on that business since September. We are looking to hire another person for the work, and we had a great meeting with the ownership group, myself, FTW, and 3 other gentlemen here. We had a big strategy session to figure out the new lead flow and how to actually handle that. So that was an incredible big win for us. I feel like this HVAC company is quickly going to become a plumbing and an electrical company as well. So getting that foundational piece put in to service our own portfolio, but now we're getting ready to take it out to third party. And it's, Big 5 heating and cooling for services for investors by investors. And so I had my first big call with the Raise Masters guys. Richard Wilson came on, just killed it once again. Not the best presenter in the world, but his content is just clutch. And he will tell you he's not the best presenter. It's, he doesn't care, but what he's telling you works. And so that pushed me to go buy his new book, which is called Pitch Decks. And Pitch Decks is a book all about making your pitch decks better, but also has a big section about branding and taglines. And so the tagline is heating, ventilation, air conditioner, for investors, by investors. Like, that makes sense. You can probably understand what we do. So we're only targeting property management companies and investors on that. And we've got a good infrastructure put in there. So, by the way, his little book it must be printed on demand or something, because it's $39. And it's like this, it's just like a Word document book. I paid for it because the value was there, right? So that was a big win. The last biggest win that I'm going to talk about, well, there's 2 more. Sorry, another full episode about wins. I don't want to just focus on these, but I need to communicate them. I talked a lot about mini vacations and actual vacations early on in the process. We've got Miami booked for my birthday, which I'm unfortunately going to miss the conference for, which sucks, but it's huge because Taylor and I are taking our first vacation without the kids. We're having 3 nights to ourselves in sunny Miami, Florida. And then we're also going out to Colorado. For being the top producer on the brokerage side last year, I won a trip to a very nice place in Breckenridge for 7 nights. I'm taking the family out there with some friends for 4 nights. And the next 2 or 3 nights, the guys are coming out and we're doing a full 12-month recap and strategy session of the first quarter. So just big things happening there on that front as well. And this might be, other than Bella's birthday, this might be the biggest win, man. And it was this: giving myself permission to feel happy, the same feeling that I would have if I completed the goal, knowing that the system is on. And so, again, reiterating the fact that the feelings that come from achieving a goal can be achieved during the process if you stay aware enough of it and you know you have your system on. So giving my permission, I'm not there yet, but I started to give myself permission to feel that this week, which is awesome, as a huge win. And again, talks to that sustainability that we mentioned earlier. So I know that was a laundry list there, man, but wanted to get that out.
No, I think it's great to capture those things and to see how you're using the things, your resources, right? Time, winnings from things, money. Like, where's it going? Are you getting a return on it? Are you making the people around you feel special, needed, appreciated? And then from there, focusing in and going back to yourself, right? It all starts with you, right? You can't give other people stuff that you don't have. Logan, if you're not happy, you aren't going to make T and Bella and Z-Man happy either.
That's right.
I mean, it's just not there because you're not carrying that energy with you. So, and it's a work in progress because you've been so against that in the past. It's like, no, I perform, I'm expected to perform, and I don't even take a break or pause or say, yeah, I did it. I just keep going to the next thing because there's another task to take on. And that just leads, unfortunately, to a miserable life. And so what didn't go the way you expected it or wanted it to go?
Yep. Sunday through, well, I guess it was Sunday and Monday night. I didn't sleep well. I don't know why yet. I'm still kind of debriefing. But I realized that from 3:30 to 4:30, I am completely on all the time. Okay. And intellectually working hard, talking to people, pouring out. Then go get the kids. They're here from 5 to 7 when we put them down. But Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I felt extremely tired from 4:30 to 6. And yeah, it was really 6:30, but like really, really tired. Like I still operated obviously, but just felt an extreme lag in that. So that was a big loss for me because I need to keep my energy levels high. And so so yes, that's a part of it. Is I was, realized Monday, we went to the water park. I was watching 2 Kids Under 2 the whole time. I didn't sleep good on Sunday because the Chiefs lost. Yeah, and I don't know if that's why or not, but at the end of the day, it went back. The learning from that was I was eating too much food. And so I started to implement fasting again. And that has, like, I just ate right before we started recording my first meal for the day. I have better energy levels throughout the day when I don't have to worry about and eat food 3 times a day. So I really just eat twice. That was a part of it. The second was, T likes to watch some TV before bed, and I have bad dreams if I watch something that is, negative. And negative in the fact that it's a good show, but it's about murder. It's about a heist. It's about everything that you see on TV. And my dreams, I take those, that impacts me directly. I don't know if everybody's like that, but like the last thing that I do in the evening, typically, or sometimes, especially when stress is going on, those dreams come through and I don't sleep very well. So long story short, trying to make sure I watch what I eat, how many times I eat, and then focusing on only winding down the right way and only putting good content in, if any at all, before we go to bed. So that was a big learning for me this week.
The other thing that I know is that you moved your workout day.
Yeah.
So you didn't do your Monday thing, and that routine, that system that you have when you're off system.
Yep.
It shows up.
That's a good point. And I realized too, on Tuesday when I was extremely tired, we did 500 reps. Parker and I did here in my house. And so in 30 minutes, we did 500 reps of 6 different exercises. And man, it killed me. Like I was physically exhausted. And so I got to realize that, hey, if you're going to do a workout like that, fuel your body the right way the night before, because I was running on fumes, get your sleep, and make sure you keep that going. So that's a great point, man. I didn't even think about that really.
For sure. Okay, so yeah, I mean the tired is pretty easy. It's what you put in your body and how you exercise it. What else you got? Is that it?
No, I got one more. The other loss was I was spread too thin this week, and I've talked a lot about this, but from February 15th to the 26th, I have a list of high value tasks to be done and completed that I'm going to be working on. And I went ahead and scheduled time every Wednesday to do high value tasks. And so continually pushing less and less time of mine in person and talking to people, and more time to get these high value tasks done, writing content, putting presentations together. We're starting a new monthly webinar series. All of these things that are driving, dollars to our business instead of working on the business. I was not there this week. I'm still spread extremely thin. Every single Friday, I have continued to add more and more to my buckets. I don't know why I'm doing it again, but I added the clubhouse thing. I added all these things. So from 10 to 2 on Fridays, I am just in front of the computer the whole time. And so I got to just reevaluate that. I got to think through that. Is it driving, profit? Is it good? Continue to think through that. This will never fall off, but like other things could and should. So that was a loss. I felt spread very thin, and I didn't give myself any transition time from one meeting to the other. For example, I had 6 investor calls, 15 minutes, back to back to back to back to back to back, while I was walking 15,000 steps on a treadmill. I got off, almost fell over. Like, that is not sustainable, right? Like, I gotta plan that out better, and that could have been avoided, but I batched all that together. So that was the last loss there, man, was being just spread too thin.
Well, and you were compressing your week, right? Because you went from 5 days to 4. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be some pressure there. I think you can decompress this week, but the question I think you absolutely have to answer is, how many days am I working this week, and am I trying to get the same level of activity? If I'm truly going to unplug for a full day,
yep.
Am I still trying to get the same level of activity in 4 days that I do in 5?
Mm-hmm.
It's not real. I mean, we can do it, but I don't know if you absolutely have to do it. And why was the 6 important? Are all 6 of them the real deal?
I don't know.
Should there be somebody filtering before you talk to them? I mean,
yep.
Back to systems, right? Somebody just emailed me and asked if we can have a phone call at 3:00 today. I've never talked to him before, and I can't talk to you at 3:00 today.
Yep.
It's just, it's not there. And so, again, don't try to squeeze 5 days into 4.
Yep.
Right? It's okay. If it happens on Monday instead of on Friday, it's fine, man. Like, back to the accomplishment thing, right? You're
absolutely.
You're checking the box, and maybe all those boxes don't have to be checked. And
yeah, and
we've talked about the assistant a few times too. So
yeah, and we hired one, so she's onboarded now, and she's going to be doing bookkeeping, but also we're thinking about other tasks that she can come in, and the next person that we didn't really think was going to be there as fast as it is investor relations person to take a lot of those calls. But long story short, man, it was a great week. I had some awesome learnings. I'm excited to the next couple of weeks to start talking through this guy that you introduced me to, Marks. This guy that I found very intellectually stimulating while I was listening to him. And I told Billy before this, I don't listen to podcasts anymore unless Jerome sends them to me. Like, I do not have. I know that you are a podcast master, but I have so much going on, so much coming in that the time that I have to actually decompress, if I add more in, it creates more stress because I'm so actionable that I listen to something. It's like, okay, boom, 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 boom. What am I going to do about it? So that being said, though, started looking into Getting Things Done, that book. And I read a summary of that book, and I have the book on my shelf here. I never read it because it's like this thick, but I read a summary and started to change it was talking about stress, and stress and overwhelm is created through open loops that get open that you do not close. And for me, that is the exact reason that I feel stressed sometimes, a big reason of it. So I am going to be working on creating a system on how to classify and manage those open loops. Someday, maybe, never, all of these different buckets. And he has an incredible graphic that goes through that. So I'm excited to dive into that. That was a huge learning, giving myself permission to feel happiness throughout the process. Huge learning. The last thing that I'll say about Mark's 3 levels of delegation: directive, objective, and leadership. Directive is, hey, I need you to go to Anton's and give me a steak, a ribeye steak that's medium rare, and it has this seasoning on it with this side, and come back and bring it to me. Objective is, hey, go give me a steak from Anton's. Leadership, what should I eat? What should we eat? So the big takeaway from that one episode that you sent over to me, there was a lot of takeaways, but that was it, was I got to get better at doing objective delegation alongside directive. Leadership is where we want to get to. I can't just start there, but thinking through those different types of delegation, completely light bulb again, man. So I want to say thank you to you for getting me on game, putting me up on game with that Marks guy. He's all about laws of success, Pareto's principle, the Hawthorne effect, mental models, getting things done. I mean, he had Richard Koch on his episode that I'm listening to right now. So long story short, excited about that because I'm now in the business of managing a business, and prioritization is a big piece of that. So anyways, long story short, man, that's the main learning from this week. It's been a huge growth week. The numbers are showing up. We're going to continue to do that. It feels good not to have a fire to put out in a week, which is, being a fireman, a part-time firefighter feels like in this business. The last 2 weeks, we have not had fires to put out. Next week we will, because we're closing 2 large projects, but that's okay. We're planning for it. So that's all I got.
For sure, man. So what's the intention for next week?
All right, man. So intention for next week, next 2 weeks, the 15th, the 26th. I've got my list. The really great things that came from the FTW retreat, from the Big 5 strategy meeting, from all these other initiatives that I want to focus on. If I can get these things done, they are going to move our business forward. So I've prioritized 2 weeks to do these high value tasks. So the intention is not letting other things come in and staying focused on my list that I have in a Google document right here that I'm pumped about. That's the intention. You always ask me about what are those high value tasks. I can read a list right now. It wouldn't make sense to a lot of people, but I got the bullets. They need to get done. I'm super pumped about being able to actually work on them.
So time blocked, the calendar overall, are the activities time blocked within the big time block?
Not yet.
Okay. That's the next step. That's when it happens, because I'm a slave to the calendar. If it's not on the calendar, It doesn't happen, right? So let's do that, and then you don't get delusional about what you're actually going to get accomplished because there's no resource allocated to it, right?
100%, man.
For sure.
All right. Well, we're running out of time. Again, head over to the link that Jerome mentioned for the conference. That will be in the show notes. Jerome texted me those, so I have them so I can put them in the show notes. We get them there, and very excited about the growth, very excited about the direction of compression. We got an email out earlier this week asking for some ratings and reviews. We're already to 15, which is incredible. I was looking at some other folks' podcasts, and I'm like, man, yeah, and they just read what they say. I'm like, wow, it's just awesome. So we're going to continue to deliver that high value content every single week. Oh, I forgot. I got a quote to leave everybody with. Unless you got something else, man, I'm going to get into my quote here.
No, go to the quote.
When you look ahead and darkness is all you see, faith and determination will pull you through. And that is from the one, the only, the polarizing Drake. That's all we got, man. Let's go compress some time.
Let's do it.
Hey compressors, if something you heard struck you, made you feel a little bit uncomfortable, good. Head on over to compressionpodcast.com. And then you can also subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts at. If you feel inclined to, please leave us a review. It's obviously helpful. But instead, I'm going to call you out today. I'm going to call you out and make sure that you do your part, sharing this message by sharing it with one person that might need to hear what we talked about today. Be great. Nothing else pays.